Hello on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. I would like to share a verse or two verses with you that often appear in weddings when there's a wedding service. Often these verses are shared by the pastor. In Ecclesiastes 4 verse 9 it says, "Two are better than one. If either falls down, one can help the other up." Also, it says for one person it's hard to stay warm alone, but two can warm each other. It goes on to say in verse 12, "A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken." So we see in these verses that 2 are better than 1, and 3 are even better than 2. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. In the last couple years, God has entrusted me with different leadership roles, and one of the most important leadership lessons I've learned is just about this. I've seen quite some problems in different settings like churches or teams or other settings where leadership consists of 2 people or 2 units. It can even be 2 families or 2 people, 1 family, 1 person, like 2 units. And then there's often clashes between those 2 units, and then it is very hard to resolve these or to find a middle ground between 2 opposing opinions. I think if in a leadership setting especially, if the leadership consists of 3 people or 3 units, that just adds a lot and it makes leadership a lot easier. Some things that are positive about that is if there's a 3rd unit, a 3rd party in leadership, it adds a 3rd opinion. It's not just 2 opinions about a certain matter. With 3 people, 3 units, it's much easier to make democratic decisions because you always have one uneven number. Also, like I said earlier, if a problem arises, if there's issues that need to be figured out, a 3rd party, a 3rd person can mediate between two people or 2 parties if there's a big issue, so the 3rd one can take a mediation role. I've been thinking of an example to demonstrate that even better, how valuable it is to have 3 parties in leadership. Just think of the difference between a 2-dimensional painting, which of course can be very nice, can be very close to reality, but adding the 3rd dimension makes it actually real. It's tangible. You can touch something that is 3-dimensional. Something that is 2-dimensional you can't touch, you can't grasp. So I think with marriage it's also something similar. There's 2 parties of husband and wife. So I think that shows that marriages without God, they just cannot really work, because there's this 3rd so important party missing. So I would like to encourage you viewers today to follow this model in church, in teams, in organizations, wherever there's especially in the leadership area of those things, to follow this model. And finally, the best example of all, I think, for this idea of having 3 people, 3 parties, is the Trinity itself. God himself, he's working like that with Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in the Trinity. So if God has decided to work like that, who are we to say, no, we don't need that, that's not a good model? I think it's the best model, so I'd like to recommend that to you. Have a blessed week. God bless you.